Okay, so you have your thrall, you beat it unconscious, you put it into a wheel of pain, you put some gruel in there, and you let it cook for as long as it took to break the thrall's will, and now the thrall is your slave slash thrall. So now what do? You go over to the wheel, you take the thrall out, put it in your inventory, and so now what do? Well, if you look in your inventory, you see that you have a thrall, in this case Anna the Reaver. So you take the thrall, drag it down into your hotbar, and then press that corresponding number, and there she is. You can scroll your mouse wheel and spin her around, which really isn't necessary, but in any event, once you get her out here on the ground, you left click one time, and she appears in world. Now, there's a few things that you really need to do before you head off on an adventure with your new thrall, because for one thing, your thrall won't follow you right now. It'll have a difficult time fighting. It really won't know what to do as soon as you bring it out of your inventory and spawn it into the world. So you walk up, get the little reticle or the little white dot to where you have it on your thrall. Press and hold the E key, and you get this big radial wheel. So the first thing we want to do is click on the move and guard button. So you click that one time with your left mouse button. So you click that one time, and now she is like this. You just move over a little bit, click again, and she will move to there. Now what this did is it gave your thrall a home position, a home base. So preferably you would do this move and guard at your home base, preferably where your bed is or your bedroll is. Even better where your slash home is set, so that that's your home base, that's your thrall's home base. If you die while you are out on an adventure with your thrall, let's say you just get overwhelmed with enemies, you drowned in the water, you fall off of a cliff, drop too far, and die. If you die out in the world somewhere, you will spawn back at your bed or bedroll. Your thrall, however, will still be out there where you died. It will be wandering around like all sad and shit, wondering where you went. It'll be very lost and forlorn and won't know what to do. So if you stay gone too long, because it's possible that you could respawn and haul ass back out to wherever you died, and your thrall will still be there, and you can run up and get her or him to follow you again, and you'll be okay. If you don't make it back in time, your thrall will ultimately show back up wherever you set the thrall with the move and guard position, so which is its home base. It's basically its bedroll or bed. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do, because you don't want to forget that. The next thing you want to do is set its behavior, which is how it's going to fight for you. So click behavior, and you get two options. This one is engagement, this one is tactics. So we'll go over tactics first. Once you click tactics, you get three options. To have your thrall just stand and defend, which is kind of not necessary because you'll do that in a different way I'll show you here in a minute. But you can use it to just have your thrall stand and defend. The other thing is prioritize ranged. What this means is if your thrall has a bow and a melee weapon, if you click this segment, it will prioritize using its bow first. It will only use its melee weapon as basically as a last resort if the enemy gets right up in its face. The exact opposite of that is to prioritize melee. So even if it has a bow, it's going to prioritize running up and getting in the face of the enemy and attacking it with its melee weapon. Personally, I use prioritize melee because I'm a melee fighter. That's the only reason. It's whatever your preference is. Okay, so back to behavior. Press and hold the E key. Click behavior. And by the way, once you get past that first wheel, you can let up on the E key and this will stay up here. So now we're going to talk about engagement. So you left click one time with your mouse and you now have these options. We're interested in attack all enemies, attack distance, and chase distance. So the first thing is you want your Thrall to attack all enemies. You don't want to be out on an adventure and an enemy comes up and your Thrall just stands there picking its nose because you haven't told it what to do. So the first thing to do is left click one time on attack all enemies. The wheel goes away. Press and hold E key, behavior, engagement. Now what we're going to do is set the attack distance. The attack distance ranges from 5 meters, 10, 15, 30 to 50. This is the distance that an enemy will be away from your Thrall before your Thrall attacks it. Seems simple enough. So typically I set it at 15 meters. Again, you can practice with this, see what you like best. So I set mine at 15 meters. Now one more time, press and hold E, click behavior, back to engagement, and this time we will set the chase distance. Again, the same amount of distances, 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30, 50. You want the chase distance and the attack distance to be the same, whatever it is that you pick, because if you have something different on each one, it's possible that you will confuse its brain and it won't know exactly what to do, and you could wind up getting yourself in trouble because your Thrall is confused. So it's best to have those two distances set the same. So again, I choose 15 meters. Alright. Now, the next thing, you hold down on the E key. We've already talked about moving guard. The next thing is break bond. If you are tired of your Thrall, you don't want this Thrall any longer, you have, for whatever reason, doesn't make any difference, and you want to get rid of this Thrall, you click break bond, and you will get this confirmation message to come up. Are you sure you want to delete Honor the Reaver? If you click yes, that Thrall will disappear. It will be lost and gone forever. So you get one last chance to make sure. If you don't, then you click no and you'll be right back. Okay, so that's how to get rid of one after you're all done. Then the next thing that you will use a lot is the follow, and once your Thrall is following you, this will say unfollow, I believe. So anyway, so now you click follow and it says that Honor the Reaver is following, which means if I run away from her, she will follow me. So now I'm through. I click and hold E, and now it says stop following. So now when I click that, it says she is scouting. So now if I run away, she doesn't follow me anymore. If you are out on an if you are out on an adventure and you want your thrall to stay put for a minute while you go do something else, if you use this, oh, stop following. So if you use this move and guard out in the world somewhere, out on an adventure, and you click this and you place your thrall there, this is now your thrall's home base. You may not even remember where you were. If you accidentally do that and you die, then your thrall will go back to their home base. And if you don't remember where that is, you won't be able to find it. So be very careful out in the field of clicking this move and guard. So I want to move her back over here to my home base, so that if worst case is I die, she will show back up right here. Okay, the other options you have are open inventory, but I will show you an easier way to do that. You have customize appearance. You can do that. You can change gender. You can do a lot of things, but if you click this, you will go to the just like your initial character creation screen, and you have to walk all the way through that to get back out of it. So don't click that unless you really have a mind to change what your thrall looks like. Customize tinting, same thing. It's skin colors and hair colors. Transfer appearance, you can transfer your appearance to your thrall. If you click that, you can transfer the appearance from your thrall to you. If all of a sudden I wanted to have red hair and boobs, this just cancels back out of the screen. Remember, break bond to follow, move and guard, we talked about all those. The final one is stats. You can click this if you want to and see what your thrall's stats are, and as your thrall levels up at levels 10, 15, and 20, your thrall will get a perk, which is completely random, but you can come in here and look and see what those are. And you can look and see what plus bonuses they might have, whatever the case might be. Alright, so the easiest way to get into your thrall's inventory is just walk up close and just tap the E key. This is the same way you get into anything else's inventory with the E key. So now these thrall can carry 5 slots worth of stuff. A thrall does not have an encumbrance problem, so it can carry the heaviest thing there is, and it won't slow down and walk like you will if you become over encumbered. As you collect better weapons, maybe for your own self, your thrall can have your hand-me-downs, or maybe you go off on an adventure and get better weapons and armor specifically for your thrall. Either way, it doesn't make any difference, but you can take the inventory of your thrall. It works just like any other inventory. You can just drag it over to your inventory, pick a different weapon and put it in there, and then that's the weapon that they will use. Obviously you don't want to have them use an iron hatchet, but that inventory. The rest, at least 1 or 2 of these, you want to put some steaks in there or some kind of thrall food. You can Google thrall food if you want, because some different types of thrall food will give them better chances to level up with different types of stats. In any event, you need to have some kind of food in here. Your thrall will not starve to death and die like you will if you run out of food. Thrall does not need water at all, but while you are out fighting, your thrall needs something to eat in order to help them rejuvenate, to build their health bar back up. So it's important to keep some food in your thrall's inventory. Over here on the right, we have the inventory of what your thrall is wearing. So again, just like the inventory on yourself, you can take a piece of inventory off of your thrall, like this, and then press escape, and you can see that she has no shoes on or gloves. Tap the E key to bring this back up. I'm not going to remove her shirt or pants so that I don't embarrass my thrall with her being naked. Then when you get some better armor, whichever type it is, you can take that armor, just drag it back over and drop it on whichever position that it goes. So with the armor that she comes with straight out of the box, it shows right up here. Her total armor value is 5 biggins. But that's what you get by just wearing these this coarse armor setup. Obviously, you want to get better armor for your thrall as soon as you can. But anyway, you can tap the E key and see what your thrall's armor level is, because it will show it right there. So it's a lot easier to get into your thrall's inventory by just walking up and tapping the E key than it is to open up the radial menu and go over to open inventory. However, I'll show you. Press and hold E. Here is open inventory. You can see it comes to the same thing. Alright, one last thing while you are in this window is you can rename your thrall. You don't have to leave the thrall with whatever name that they come with straight out of the wheel. You just click this area right here into this text box, and you can backspace through that and type in whatever name you want. Then press escape, and now you can see that my girl's name is Girl. So now when you are out fighting and you're screaming at the screen for your girl to say, get over here and help me, then her name is Girl. If while you are out fighting and your thrall dies, it is lost and gone forever. There is no resurrecting a thrall. You get one chance. Just like the only difference is if you die, you get rezzed back at your home base, wherever your bedroll or bed is. If your thrall dies, it is lost and gone forever. But remember, a thrall will not die to a sandstorm. A thrall will not die running out of food or water. You don't have to have any water on a thrall. The food is not there to keep their stomach full. It is there to keep them have something to eat so they can rebuild their health